Morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to Broadcast Media Africa. This is the Content Production and Distribution Forum. My name is Benjamin Pius. I'm the publisher of Broadcast Media Africa. And over the next 45 minutes, we have the industry leaders that's going to be talking about various issues regarding production, distribution, and monetization of content. Without much ado, let me start by introducing the panels that we have lined up for today. Lucilla Blackenberg, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I am the Director of Community Media Trust. We are a not-for-profit company that specializes in health communication, gender-based violence, and education. And we do all forms of media. So we do web, print, television, radio, and outdoor media. And we also do primetime drama series for the SABC, South African Broadcasting Corporation. And yeah, I'm working on some feature films and lots of content, but all with a human rights approach or angle to them. So we are not for profit, and we also do training in the industry. Directors and producers. Yeah.
Excellent, Lucilla. Thank you very much. Alec, tell us about yourself, please.
Okay, my name is Alec Nyankata from Zambia. I'm the chairperson for the Zambia Filmmakers Association. I'm also putting on another hat where I'm Chief Creative Officer for Mwazanato Studios and Advertising. It's basically an audio-video company, and we've done some productions, some drama series, and then we also do documentaries. Yeah, so anything to do with video. Yeah. Okay. So in a nutshell, yeah, we've done some drama series for our local TV station, which is called ZMBC. And then also we've produced content for DSTV. That is Zambezi Magic in particular. I don't know if you watched Water Life, City on Fire, yes, to mention but a few.
All right, Mr. Ogupiton, can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Hi, my name is Remi Ogupiton. I run a production company in Nigeria. We're focused on two aspects of it, actually. So we do the content, we also do the technology bit as well. We are 18 years in the business in Nigeria. We've done quite a lot of things in the areas of content, from TV commercials to documentaries, game shows, reality shows. The kind of things we've done in the past include things like Big Brother, The Apprentice Africa, Dragon's Den Nigeria. We've also done drama series for Mnet. We've done a lot of technology projects in terms of archiving, digital asset management, content applications. We work basically now mostly in the commercial area for clients like MTN, BBC, CNN, etc. And we're doing quite a few interesting things in the area of content. I think that's a little bit about us. Okay, excellent. You're welcome, sir. Let's quickly go to Philippe. Philippe Bresson, Insignia Production. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
My name is Philippe Bresson. I'm the director of Insignia Productions. We've been running Insignia for the last 12 years. We've shot over 4,000 episodes of TV content. Some of our content has aired in Nigeria on Ebony Life, on ETV in South Africa. Basically just trying to do, moving from just doing East African content to Pan-African content. Our production company has grown as well to do commercials, TV ads and documentaries. And most recently, we've been working a lot with international companies such as Cartoon Network. We just did a project for Cartoon Network, which was pretty exciting. And we are in the midst of working with another affiliate of Tana Media Channel
Okay.
On a project.
Excellent. And last but not least, Maggie Montague.
Hi everyone. My apologies for being late, but we're based in Cape Town. We're in the tourism industry. I run a company called Travel Africa TV, which is now been rebranded to Travel Africa Network. We are been in business for almost 7 years, but we are a media house for tourism and hospitality in Africa, focusing on obviously 2D, VR and augmented reality. We've just signed a contract with Eutelsat to produce the first travel channel, dedicated 24/7 travel channel in Africa, which is going to be featured in the Europe, Middle East and North Africa in 135 million homes. So we'll be covering anything from gastronomy, luxury travel, adventure to destinations in Africa.
Excellent. What we want to go into now, ladies and gentlemen, is issue of local content. The demand for local content in Africa is there. You will agree with me. Let's just look at the gaps in local content production in Africa. What is it that you as producers would like to see fellow producers focus on in terms of actively producing local content that Africans or that the global audience will enjoy? Let me start first with Felipe. Where are the gaps in local content production in Africa?
I was literally just having this conversation about like maybe 4 days ago, and I feel like we need structures. I don't think the structures in most of the African countries, in terms of structures that support producers, structures that support actors, and I feel like if we do have structures, then we will definitely be able to make a proper footprint with local production.
Okay, so Lucilla, from where you sit, as you sit in the industry, where are the gaps?
So we're based in Cape Town, and all of the dramas that I've done have been Cape Town based. And what I find is we do local stories for local audiences through the SABC and obviously the rest of Africa. But our production capacity is hindered by international adverts and commercial work, which we can't afford to pay the same rates, so we can't really shoot in summer. So I feel like there should be a little bit more protection maybe, or assistance for local productions, so that we, for example, film permits and things like that, we are charged exactly the same as someone making a Coca-Cola advert to shoot in our own streets, So I agree that there should be structures that assist local production in a better way so that we can tell our own stories. And then similarly, distribution as well. I find that we make something and then we move on to the next thing, and I struggle to get, if it's not through festivals, I struggle to get the work out there. The distribution is not always as easy with copyright and usage and things like that. If we make stuff for the SABC or for big broadcasters, they kind of own it once the production is done. So yeah.
So let me swing into Alec. Alec, from where you guys sit, what are the main issues, the main gaps that is really affecting local content production as far as you see?
Okay, thank you so much. I think from our end here, I'll mention a few things. Number one is, there's this thing of there's no specialization. So you find one person is a producer, he's a writer, he's a DOP, he's an editor. So you see, and expertise is not really there, And you see what they say, if you're a team you have, okay, this one will critique your works, but if you're alone, you just think, okay, this is just right for me, So at the end of the day, you find that what you'll be producing won't be of that good quality, So I think there is need for specialization where you have all the departments in place. starting from the wardrobe, into the props department, the camera department, everything set. But okay, we understand it because the budget sometimes may not allow that all the departments are in place, okay? And then the other thing is, just coming to the same. So there's need to build capacity, okay? There's need to build capacity in the team so that at least there's a specialization of duties. And from my country here, there is no single film school, okay? A lot of us who have been producing films and series, it's from experience. That's how we've actually been able to get to where we are. So I think a film school is very, very important, and it will add value to the industry. I always say, a lot of people say the biggest challenge is finance, which I disagree. Okay, if for example you give people money to say, okay, go into this production, large sums of money, and then they do not have the capacity to handle that money and produce a quality, produce something of very, very high quality. Okay, so I think it starts with building capacity. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Maggie, so from your point of view, what are those gaps that you see that you think the industry needs to plug this gap if local content is going to be further developed within the African space?
What I've noticed is that Africa is not properly represented in terms of, I'm talking from tourism content. A lot of the content that's pushed out is more negative, very negative. And Africa is a very beautiful continent, a lot of cultures, amazing people. And for me, that's what I want to push out and try and portray Africa for what it is, what it really is. When it comes to production, we are at the moment busy setting up our production team. And we've had to work with actually the team that was working at Top Billing, if you guys know about Top Billing, and Top Billing has been shut down. I think they're not operating anymore. And the rate structure and the expertise, I think somebody mentioned the expertise, there's a huge gap between we can only, for the amount of content that we want to produce, we can only actually use certain people from SABC or people who have worked for Top Billing. And the rate is the rate structure. I'm not sure if the industry is even regulated in terms of the fees that are charged. So you find, I love to empower younger generation people. I live in Cape Town, right across from me is a film school, just across the street from me. And I like to work with them and bring them on board and bring the young people that are coming. But I also find that I've asked them to send me show reels, and the stuff that they're learning at school is completely different from what they, the kind of quality that we want to produce. So that there is a big gap between the different production houses, actually. That's one thing that I've learned as well, which is quite a confusing. It's taking us almost 2 months to put together a team for production, really.
Okay, I just wanted to also go to Remy.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I think some very good points have already been made already. Philip talked about structure. I think one of the critical areas that we need to look at is policy. Across Africa, governments come up with, policies about how to promote the industry, how to protect the local industry. But what I tend to find is that very often there's not enough political will and support to push these policies through. So what tends to happen is that you have government and the various bodies that are responsible for providing strategy, guidance, progressive thinking for the industry. And most of what they do is just on paper. Now, I think the industry itself has some internal challenges. I found that the professionals are very, very fragmented. So the guilds within the industry are not really well managed. And you find also that there's a lot of intransigence between the various people, various groups that have a stake in the industry. And I think it's very important that we need to find some form of cohesiveness within the professionals of the industry so that we can exert the kind of influence and ensure that the policies and political will is enforced in a manner that is beneficial to our industry.
Okay, excellent. So we've gone through a variety of issues.
Am I able to add something to that?
Oh, please go ahead. That's the beauty of it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is, what he says is makes a lot of sense. There's on-ground issues that we have in our separate countries, but there's also something that I've, had to deal with, and that's like dealing with a Pan-African issue. So, okay. I got into it with my distributor a few years ago, like 2 years ago. We had a disagreement, whatever. But you see, as you're looking at it from a Pan-African point of view, I don't have a body that represents me that I can run to and be like, yo, I feel like I'm being exploited as an African filmmaker. And, I'm dealing with a distributor who's a giant. And, obviously, this foreigner who's opened a distribution company in various African countries.
Okay.
And we've been going at it. I gave him about maybe 200 episodes of a beautifully shot show. But then, we get into issues because, it's being aired in some countries. I'm getting calls, yo, we're watching your show. It's pretty cool. I get back on the sales. It's not on the report, things like this. So, man, I don't have anywhere to run to because, he then sues me in a different country. Or rather, I sue him in Kenya. He counter-sues me in a different country. It's a mess, It's like, what's the point, man? So I feel like, just as how we have the group that we have right here, we should have groups, bodies that represent countries and then represent the whole of Africa. So that as a filmmaker, I can take my issue to my Kenyan Film Commission. If they're unable to help me, if it's a Pan-African issue, I can go to my Pan-African Film Commission and I can talk to them. And also just like what Aderemi said, have governments support us and make sure that we get the representation that we need,
Remy, whilst Philip was speaking there, I see you are nodding vigorously. Do you have a quick point?
What I've seen across Africa is that you will find most professionals in other industries, you will find a very robust professional association, for instance, for doctors, for people within the advertising industry, for engineers. You would find even in some countries associations for business people that graduated from Harvard. Maybe they went there on a 6-month course, but then they still belong to the association. But you find within Africa that our professional associations are not robust enough to exert the kind of energy, to exert the kind of influence that we need to exert. And what I think is going to be key for us to grow our local content, to access financing, to do all the things that we need to do, is that we need to put our own houses in order first and have that regard and that respect within government circles, within all stakeholders. Then we can start to talk about getting things done the way that it helps us to grow our businesses, to grow our industries, to build capacity, to access finance. And I think that link is missing. I think
Okay.
everybody's just, going at it. Oh, let me just get my money. Let me make my movie. Let me distribute it. Let me, get a commission. Oh, is the BBC coming to Nigeria? Can I get that production? And we're forgetting the bigger issues.
Okay, excellent. So if we move away from those gaps, so in terms of African content, or should we say local content, I suppose the next question is, if we say local content is here to stay and we need to support local content, are we all in agreement that some of the content that have been produced locally are not meeting world standards? As producers, what do we need to do to get our content to the point where the folks everywhere in the world wants to watch this content? What is Miss Lucilla? Do you want to give me your opinion on that, please?
It's a tough one. I have seen some really good quality things come out of Africa. I've made some myself, so I don't think it's one brush. I think there are some real creative directors and producers who put everything into their projects, and it is good quality. And I think more and more audiences are getting used to subtitles now that we can stream things, because I think language is also an issue. We've got so many languages, and people are sometimes lazy to read and want things in English or easy to understand. I think Netflix and live streaming platforms are helping us see things from all over the world in all kinds of languages. But at the same time, I have seen some rushed, low quality content that I think sometimes, because of all sorts of reasons, low budget, or if it's your bread and butter, you need to get things done. It's not great. Audiences relate to the stories, but we have to tell them in a way that you can see yourself in it. And I think we are doing that, but yeah, it's not always all the same. The standards are not always all the same.
Okay, just once I have you, Lucilla, the content that you put out, how do you distribute them?
So all of our drama stuff is mainly made for the SABC, which is the public broadcaster, and they own it. So the way it works is we get a commission, even though it's usually my story, but they own that content afterwards, which is where the problem comes in, because we can't sell it on other than festivals. So
so you're producing on that commission from the SABC?
Most of the time, yes. The other work that we are doing is human rights based. So we raise funding from the donor world to tell stories around human rights. So that is money that comes into the media side of things. But we don't sell the product. We just give it away so that we can give it to any platform that will play it for educational purposes. But they are all in story form. We raise funding to tell stories that we give away. I have made some TV for Mozambique, for Lesotho, and for Malawi, but all in the public broadcasting space.
Right. So, Alec, from where you guys stand, your members must have, you must have spoken to your members. How do you get your content to be on the global platform? Speaking from the Zambian perspective.
Okay, I want to mention that currently our national broadcaster has not been good to us, because the amounts they will be offering do not even meet the production costs. And you find that they'll be buying a foreign product at a higher price, and they want to buy a local product at a low price. So they've been having challenges. Just recently, over the weekend, we had a minister, the Minister of Tourism and Arts. He wanted to find out what challenges we are facing and how we should move forward. So we gave him the challenges, and he said, okay, fine, we are preparing a stimulus package, in these times of coronavirus and all. So wait to hear from the government. Just to add on distribution, currently, I think MultiChoice DSTV is the one which is actually paying some reasonable amount for the content. But again, it goes back to, you know, these are commissioned projects. So it is one-off for the producer, and then for the pay TV, they will run it in different regions. Sometimes they will tell you to give it to them with textless files, you know, so they will run it in this country for a very, very long period. And I want to believe that the producer, you know, if they run it for, it should have a period, you know, a period, okay, they'll run it for these years. And then afterwards, you need to be getting some commissions out of it. But once it's commissioned, you do work for them, and that's the end of it.
You know, the reason why I think my people put the question in about quality of the local content is people will argue that for now, for example, we have platforms, global platforms that are, for example, I will mention Netflix or Amazon or even Showmax. And what they fed back to us is they cannot carry a lot of the content that have been produced in the continent on their platform because of the poor quality production. Now, how do we?
I don't think, to be honest, I don't feel like, I think Africa has gone past poor production, you know,
Okay,
because if you have your foot on the ground, then you know where you can get good producers, you know where you can get good film directors. Like there's a future project that I'm working on with this amazingly talented kid from Uganda. He's called Lukman. He does VFX. He's a VFX director. He has his movie coming out. It's beautifully shot VFX. You'd think this thing was produced in Hollywood. But my question then becomes, if I was going to produce a series or a movie for $2 million, you say you need that level of quality produced. So if I do produce a 2 million picture, who's going to afford to buy a $2 million picture? Even Mnet, you know, the Mnet that we're talking about will be like, dude, no. So there has to be a market. And the only way this market can happen is if we get to a place where distribution works. That's what I feel.
Okay.
And that's a path that we decided to take about 5 years ago, but now I'm having fights with my distribution.
So let me go to Mr. Ogupiton, please.
Yeah, I want to shake the box a bit, honestly. Africa, we have a population of 1.4 billion people, which is almost going to increase by almost 50% by 2050. That's a huge market. And one of the things we need to understand is that typically, you know, film and TV producers recoup a high percentage of their investments in their home markets. Now, if you look at the rich markets with high value productions, you know, when they reproduce these high value productions and they want to take them into Africa, there's a strong incentive for international trade, which their governments promote, okay? So they can export those products at almost any price, which means that a large, wealthy producer like America, with almost 100 million television households, can sell high budget programs in other countries or secondary markets at a low cost, which we find very, very difficult to compete with. My issue is this, and I think what we should be thinking about is that, look, we've got a huge population in Africa. And the challenge we have within our continent is distribution.
Okay.
It's a huge problem. And I would like to, you know, rejig the whole thing. I mean, we're talking about, we want our content on Netflix, we want it on Amazon, we want it in Hollywood. Sure, I mean, that's great aspiration. But we've got 1.4 billion people that the brands, companies, and organizations want to reach. And I think what we should be looking at is that improving the kind of content we create and looking at how we can conquer and own our own market. That's my own perspective.
Fantastic. Now, I pick you up on that perspective and I say, move it forward a bit for me and give me, we're moving to distribution now, give me your thoughts on what you think we should do to get to this place that you've described so eloquently well. How do we get there from where we are now? How do we move to that place?
I think what is missing, and we've talked about it earlier, is that, you know, at the end of the day, nobody's going to do it for you.
Yes.
You know, we sit down, we talk about all these things, you know, we know the benefit, we know how it's going to work for us, and we know the potential if we get it to work. So I think basically we have to get up our own high horses and do this thing for ourselves. Let's stop waiting for government. Let's stop, you know, there's so much investment and there's so much, the market is so large that if we just sit down and we keep on talking and waiting for somebody else to come and do it for us, what will happen is that we will become, you know, we'll be talking about Black Lives Matter and slavery in about 20 years from now.
Excellent. Let me swing to Maggie. Maggie, so you've set up this travel network to showcase tourism across Africa, which is impressive. And you've secured the distribution, shall I say, deal with a company, a satellite company. Can you shed more light into how you think that will work? Why did you decide to go down that route of that distribution channel? And what lessons have you learned so far that can be of benefit to other producers or other channel owners that want to do the same?
So the motivation for me has always been, obviously, having worked in the tourism industry for 16 years, is to showcase the beauty of Africa. And there's no doubt about it. We've got so much to offer in Africa. It's one of the continents in the world that has so much all on one continent. And it took me almost a year to close the deal with the satellite agency Eutelsat. It looks like there was also from their side, they really wanted this to happen because they wanted to, you know, content on Africa. So that was, I'm learning from you guys. They really wanted to have a platform that showcases African travel. So I'm glad we managed to close that deal. The challenges that I have had would be on the production side of things, putting together the right team, and you raise the topic of the quality of content. And we are on an international platform because the countries that we are in, 135 million homes, most of them are Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Middle East, and then a part of North Africa. So this is an international platform. So the quality of the content that has to go out has to be really premium, because we're basically on the same platform where Sky News is on. So we can't, that has been cracking our heads trying to figure out. And also we produce the content 24/7. It's a 24/7 channel, 365 days. So we have to produce, if I can give you an idea, it's about 240 25-minute episodes per month. That's a lot. And the biggest challenge for us, for South Africa, because I'm based in Cape Town and I've been filming in South Africa for some time, that's easy for us because we can send our team on all corners of South Africa. But I want to produce content on Nigeria, on Ghana, on other countries on the West Africa, on Egypt. We still don't know how we're going to get our production team. Can we get production teams that are on the ground that produce the same kind of quality content that we can produce, that we produce in South Africa, because the quality has to look the same on the same platform. So that's been really, really difficult. And it's interesting that when Eutelsat sent out a press release last month on our deal, we actually got contacted by production houses that are outside Africa, which was a bit interesting for me, because I was like, where are the production houses that are in Africa? People who work in Africa, who understand the geography and the cultures of Africa. Why are these people not contacting us? So the production it is still a challenge for us. I filmed cross-border countries. I've traveled Southern Africa filming lodges and hotels in these areas. And one of the biggest challenges was permits for filming. You will not believe it, how much governments will charge a production company coming from South Africa crossing into Botswana, but I'm filming Botswana as a destination, so I can market Botswana as a destination to the international market. And they easily slap you with a $3,000 permit for a few days, and your production team, there's $100 per person for each production team that's attending. So there your budgets goes up, and I wonder if this whole industry is regulated. So there's a lot of challenges, and we would want to work with production houses that are based in other countries, but also it's very difficult to figure out which ones are those. Yeah.
Wow.
I almost feel like governments need to hire people with film backgrounds so that we can have people who understand, you know, production. I think it's guys who've done sciences and things like that who are running these things. How do they slap you with $3,000? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. So we were actually we were just going to film a safari lodge for a couple of days. And we couldn't get in. Our camera equipment, they literally looked at it at the border and they're like, no, you need a permit, you know, $3,000. It was a task, you know, but I'm saying, like, I think Africa we need to look at each other as a whole instead of countries and regions. And that's how we're going to grow. We can't say, oh, you're from South Africa and therefore you can't now come and cover our country. But the platform is, we've got a platform in promoting Africa to the whole world.
Let's move on to distribution. Philippe, this question is, and everyone will chip in before we go, is the traditional model of distribution, is it dead? Does it not work for Africa? If no, what should replace it? Your words.
I think. Oh, it's an interesting question. I think the question should be on the distribution back end. You know, because I feel like producers have become resourceful enough to figure out how to fund productions. You know, or at least where I come from, we become resourceful enough to you know, we've turned it into a business. So if this is what we do every single day, then we figure out ways to get money. We get overdrafts, we get bank funding, we get all these other ways to get the content funded. But then the problem comes is, if I have the content, what am I going to do with the content? We have Maggie talking about, you know, licensing issues and stuff. So you can imagine the kind of challenges you'll just get with, like, trying to even set up meetings with some of these companies, or going, and we don't have too many proper film festivals, you know? So it's the question should be like, what do we do with the content after we've filmed it, you know? I feel like we really need to establish a body that can, you know, can be responsible for setting up distribution in Africa. So just get different people who are interested in distribution, and then the body supports them. And then this body then becomes, you know, the platform where, you know, if there's any conflict, if there's any issues, if we need to do global film festivals, you know, this body is what supports local filmmakers in Africa.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Alik, how do you chip into the question of distribution? What are those things that we need to do concretely to help taking the content from production out there in a way that benefits the producers and the makers of the content?
Yes, you know, filmmaking does not only end after, in the post-production. We need some effective marketing for our productions, and then moreover, if we, like I mentioned, division of labor, if we producers concentrate also on the distribution aspect, the creative side of it might be compromised. So I agree with Felipe that we need just a different division where they would actually be able to market our products to these international media houses. Just recently, we're in post-production for the first ever horror movie here in Zambia, and I partnered with some special effects artists from the US, And the project is in post now. We're working on the music now, and then our target is Netflix. So right now we're not really thinking about how we want to make a very, very good project, which will be on point and good quality for the worldwide audience. So the distribution will come in at a later stage when we are done. But for now, we've studied, okay, these are the people looking for content.
Okay.
Just to add to that, I've had a lot of experience with distribution, guys. And the thing is, to be honest, like what Aderemi said, the African market is huge. Now, if we're able to capitalize on the African market, Alik, you'd not even be thinking of Netflix. You know what I'm saying? That would be like option number 7. You understand what I'm saying? But it's the distribution, man. It's the distribution.
So let me go to Remy quickly. Your thoughts on distribution? I have 2 minutes left.
Okay, it's very, very simple. I'm just going to paint a little scenario for us, which we've been witnessing in America. You know, if you don't build your own economic systems, your own economic structures, you're always going to be a slave. And you will be fighting enemies and people who would not want you to do that, because they know the potential, they know the profits, they know the margins that they will make by controlling that environment. So I've got 3 words. Let's tell our own stories. Let's own our own people, and let's build our own distribution.
Excellent.
Now, that's all I have to say. How we do that, I can't tell you now. It's something maybe we need to think about, but that's what we need to do.
And think about it, we shall. Guys, I'm sorry, this is all we have time for. This is the first session of the Broadcast Media Africa Content Production and Distribution Forum. And I really want to do a special thank you to all my eminent panelists. I have here Lucilla Blankberg, Director, Producer, Community Media Trust and of the Grand Media in South Africa. Maggie Montague, Founder, Travel TV Africa. Philip Bresson, Insignia Production. Remy Ogupiton, IBST Media Nigeria. And Alik Nyakata from the Zambia Filmmakers Association. Guys, you've been wonderful. Thank you very much. Keep well, keep safe, and God bless. Thank you. Bye-bye.